back at Rainbow for another trip, and pleased to say I'm back in swim 18. Haven't been in this swim for a couple of years, and it was always my favourite out of all the swims on here. They're all good, you know, at one time or another, but I like fishing this one mainly because it's sort of open water fishing. You can play the fish from the bank, and I will go and have a little look at the spots. Call it the Golden Bush, and it's not much of a bush anymore, just a few old dead twigs, but it used to be the most prolific spot in the swim at one time, but like anywhere else, you know, it's been hammered a fair old bit over the years, and it's not what it used to be. Still produces though. Down the snags. This is another tree that's died recently. This was last time I was here, it was still alive, this one, but it looks like the high water has sort of done for it. But the second rod, which is my middle one, is just off the front of this tree, just about in front there, just off the right hand side perhaps, but it drops down to about probably 14-15 foot off the front there, and it's quite clear actually underneath that tree. But what you've got is a little clearing. It comes up on the shelf there, and it's quite clear just on the top, but then behind it goes back into like a bay, which looks okay, but there's a fair bit of woodwork down there under the surface, so you can only get just onto the front of the ledge there. The third rod, which has been the most productive during the first few days anyway, I think I've had five or six bites on this rod now, and it's basically to the right of these trees. There's two different trees there. There's that one and this one, which is sunken deeper down. Just on the right hand side you can see there's a bit more of a clearing, and it's fairly clear down there, in anywhere between, I suppose, about 13 and 17 foot. It depends on the time of year. At the moment I'm having to go a little bit shallower into about 13 foot, but it's a good spot, that, and again, you know, it's easy to see why. There's all that stuff right at the back there, and the carp love getting in amongst that. Sometimes I've walked out on the island there and been able to look down on the fish sunning themselves, where they're not that obvious from the swim itself, but most times there's fishing around these snags, and it's a matter of fishing close enough where you're going to get pickups, but far enough away where you're going to be able to land a fish. Obviously that's the main part when you hook a fish, getting them out from all this stuff, and after that it's pretty much plain sailing. It's pretty open water, but you know, you can see what it's all about there. You can see why it's hit and hold, and you know, strong gear and everything else, but it's a great area. Love fishing this area. Well, we're off the mark. Not one of the rainbow monsters, but a nice hard fighting fish. Cool, it did give me a scrap, this one. 34.5 pound, and come from one of the usual spots close to the island margin there. I mean, it's not rocket science fishing swim 18. It's pretty sort of straightforward, fishing over to the island margin, but it's always a bit nerve-wracking when you get a take. You've got to be on it so quick, and you know, it's heart-stopping, locked up, hitting old stuff, but it's exciting stuff, and you know, first day and we're off the mark with this one, so I'm sure there'll be more to come, and just got to hope lucky, you know, with some of the weights. Oh, it's been a hectic hour. Jones had one nice £20 common that fought like a lunatic, and so did this one, to be fair. This is a lovely mirror, 45.5, and it's been a quite a couple of days, to be fair. We've had easterly winds, and for this swim, easterly winds are normally the kiss of death, and it did quieten right down. I had a 10-pound common a couple of days ago, and that's the only fish in the last 2 or 3 days really, and it wasn't looking good. It's looking the same, but out of the blue, 2 bites in an hour. Really hard fighting. This one absolutely pulled my arms off, it really did, but brilliant to get it, and lovely mirror, like I say, 45.5. And the good news is we've got storms due tonight and southwesterly winds after that, so it's what we always hope for in swim 18. Southwesterly winds are what we hope for. They're the best winds in this swim, and storms always good when you're fishing. So we've got that due tonight. Hopefully it's going to pick things up, but out of the blue, when it looked dead, we've had 2 fish in an hour, so it ain't that bad. It's pretty good stuff.
Well, it took a long time to get here, but we've finally got a big southerly wind hacking down the lake, quite strong. And it's getting a bit late on in the session really, but it's never a bad time for it, I suppose. Anyway, it's done the trick straight away. I've just had a 56.25 pound mirror, best fish of the trip so far. And yeah, as usual, the big southerlies brought a bit of action. Always was the best conditions in this swim, and they've been forecasting it all the time we've been here, and every day it's been something else in the end. They're forecast wrong. It's been mainly easterlies, which haven't been brilliant, but finally a big southerly wind, and it's brought a bit of action straight away with a good fish. So there might be a few more yet as well, but perfect conditions now. Anyway, I'll show you the fish in a minute.
Like I say, it's perfect conditions now. Lovely big southerly coming down the lake, and it's normally what switches this swim on, and it's done it again. Like I said, just had a lovely 56-pound mirror. Proper old battle-scarred warrior, this one. Lovely fish. It's certainly been in a few battles over the years, and he was in one more this morning with me. I'm pleased to say. Well, they don't call it Big Fish Thursday for nothing. I've had 2 bites today. The first one was 56 mirror earlier. I've just had this one. It's absolutely blown a hooligan, and I still ended up having to go out in the boat for it, but it was worth it. So it was this one, 60.25 pound common. Absolutely lovely fish, and come from the rod that's been producing most of the action, in about 9 foot, on the little coconut cream snowman again, and God, it was a hell of a fight. And like I say, I had to go out in the boat, which was a bit dodgy in this wind as it's blowing a hoolie, but it all turned out well. And so what a cracking fish. Two fish today, 2 crackers. What a trip.
It's actually calmed down a little bit at the moment, which is the only reason I've been able to stand out and do this for a second. It is absolutely blowing a hoolie, and it's been clear skies, but there's a bit of cloud moving in now, so I guess we're going to get a bit of rain very soon. Like I say, it's absolutely been blowing a hoolie.
Well, don't call it Big Fish Thursday for nothing. What a day it's been, it really has been. Started off this morning with a 56 mirror, lovely fish. That would have done for the day really, would have been happy with that, and I was. But then got a 60.25 pound common, which was absolutely brilliant. And now I've just had this one, which tops the lot actually. Not quite a PB common, 4 ounces off, but 67.5 pounds. And it is absolutely lovely. I'll hold this up for you, have a look at this common. It is absolutely gorgeous. Oh. I'll tell you what, you won't see many big commons better looking than this one. The fight was unbelievable. I mean, the wrist on the tail, if you the size of that tail and the wrist on the tail, that's where all its power is. And the fight was unbelievable. Snagged me up right in close as well. Ended up having to get the boat to get it unsnagged. Luckily it was still on there, and hell of a fight, like I say, but got it in. 67.5 pound. What a day. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely over the moon with that. It is all kicking off now. It's going to be a shame to pack up from here, but literally just had another take, and it's on the golden bush rod, which has been quiet all week. I've only had one other take of this. It's kiting round a bit, so I'm probably going to have to go in the boat, but it's all going well. It's all hectic action. Yes. Another common, another nice common. Job done. Yeah, it's definitely been a trip to remember for sure. This is actually the third 60 pound common on the bounce now. 61 pound 2 ounce, which follows the ones from yesterday. Incredible fishing. And last 5 fish have been all good ones. Jones actually just landed a 51 pound mirror. So it's all go here. And it's all big fish, which is incredible. But that's rainbow for you. You know, when it switches on in style. And the arms are really aching. So I'm going to put this one down and get him back. But it's just brilliant stuff. Love it here. But the action keeps going. Just had 2 takes literally within a couple of minutes of each other. 42 common, and then the old banker rod went off again, and this one, which was just over 59 pound. Big mirror for a change to all the commons, but absolutely cracking fish again. And God, there's no end to it. Ooh. Oh dear. Bit camera shy this one by the looks of it, but unbelievable stuff. I'm getting the exercise anyway, put it that way.